Welcome to the Shuffle Curious podcast. I'm your host, Patty Lynch. Have you ever seen an amazing shuffler at a show or festival and wondered, how did they get started? How did they develop their skills? And who are they beyond the dance floor? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring in this show. We'll dive into the personal experiences of the dancers that make up our beloved community. We'll be learning more about who they are and what makes this dance so special to them. So, with that, let's jump into the show and let's get curious together. Hello, all my Shuffle Curiosities. This is episode 6 of the Shuffle Curious podcast. And in this episode, I had the pleasure of speaking with Miguel Reyes, also known as Migz. And in this episode, it was very clear just by, how Migz was describing his journey, how consistent he's been in working on his craft and engaging with the shuffle community in a meaningful way. And he's very much an OG. He has a lot of knowledge to impart on all of us, after over a decade of, going through this and, taking on the rigors of learning shuffling. But it's very clear that he has committed to, teaching, instructing, showing newer shufflers the way, so to speak. And it was super amazing for him to be here in Denver for a couple days and visit because we just felt very spoiled. He taught 2 classes. He didn't let up on any opportunities to come and sesh with us at all of our favorite places to dance. And, he was super busy when he was here, but, still made time for the podcast to get on here and have a conversation. So, he was very, very present with our local community. And I know for a fact that he's been that way with the rest of the communities that he's visited as well. So I really enjoyed my conversation with him. I really hope you guys do as well. So without further ado, this is my conversation with Miguel Reyes, also known as Migz. Migz, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Awesome, man. How has your trip to Denver been?
It's been good so far. Having a good time with the Denver shuffle community out here. I had a good time last night. Shout out to Dee for inviting me out to see her play. It was fun.
And you hit the church nightclub as well, right? Paul Van Dyke?
Yeah. It's my first time out there in that venue. It's a super nice venue. I was blown away when I got inside. I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's a church.
It's a cool aesthetic, right? Yeah. It's like a repurposed church and, just everyone getting down to some EDM.
Yeah, Paul Van Dyke killed it. It was dope.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm so glad that you could join me in having this conversation. I had first heard about you when I saw my friends Raven in London doing a virtual lesson with you. They were at Cheeseman Park. We were all just, seshing and chilling, and they kind of pulled themselves off to the side and were doing a lesson on their phone with you. And, I'd asked them later, I was like, what was all that about? And they're like, this was our friend, Migz, and he was teaching us some Moss. And at this time, I was still very fresh, to just shuffling in general. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what Moss is. And so it was a little bit of a curiosity to me, and it kind of just stuck with me. I didn't do anything with that information, but I looked you up on Instagram and kind of saw what that was all about. And so I've just kind of kept up with your whereabouts. And, recently I saw that you were coming to Denver and whatnot. And I wanted to connect with you. So I asked Raven if she could make a kind of like a warm intro.
Yeah.
And you were gracious enough to come onto the podcast and just talk a little bit about your experience. So it'll be cool to take your class tonight. It'll be cool to sesh with you tomorrow at Cheeseman. Yeah. And, I just got word that you'll be here for a little bit longer. So, hopefully we can kick it after class and, into the week as well.
Right.
And just get to know you a little bit better. So, I've heard so many great things about you, you know, along the way. And so it's a pleasure to just get to spend some time with you, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it means a lot. Raven and London are really good friends of mine, and right now they're at Cross. They're having a good time out there. You know, I just love those people, my friends, you know. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to spending a few more days out here and connecting with you guys from Denver. You know, it's a cool opportunity.
Yeah. What made you extend your trip, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, London and Raven are gonna be in Cali right now till Monday, and it sucks we didn't get to spend much time. And it so happens that Tori's gonna be out here. She's coming out here tomorrow. They have plans for moving out here to Denver, so they're gonna be spending some days out here. So I just decided to extend my stay so we can all hang out and just vibe and connect more and have a good time, you know. And then me and Tori decided to do a class on Tuesday out here in Denver. We did a class out in Austin like 2 weeks ago, and that went pretty well. It was her first class doing a choreo, just her first class teaching shuffling, and she had a really good time. And we decided to do it again, and we're gonna have one out here in Denver, so that's awesome.
Nice, man. Yeah, sounds like a lot of your friends are out here. Any inclination to make a move?
LA is my home, you know. Like I love being out there in Cali. I don't like the cold, so Denver is like, it's really cold out here, you know. So I'm good in Cali. Yeah.
Got it. I just have to be the poster child for Denver and try and recruit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to get a little bit into your background. So if you could tell the listeners maybe a little bit about you, you know, you said you're from LA, you know, how long have you been there? And just in general, how long have you been shuffling?
I've been in LA, the rest of my, like, born and raised in LA. I've been there all my life. I'm 30 years old now, so it's like, you know, 30 years in LA. And I've been shuffling now for about 14 years. So I started in 2009. So, wow, like time flies. You know? But yeah, I'm still enjoying shuffling, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, man, it looks like you're very much immersed in the community. It looks like you're very much consistent with, you know, your participation in the community and just shuffling, growing as a shuffler. So, but I'm sure, you know, a lot has changed since you were 16 and whatnot. I do want to just ask you, like, what was life like before shuffling? What were your interests that, you know, might have primed you to start shuffling and things like that?
Well, I when I was like 18, around that time, we used to go to a lot of house parties back in my city. There was a lot of house, like, flyer parties, we used to call them. And it was just a bunch of just parties in the neighborhood, in the city. And they used to play like EDM, you know, Bloody Beetroot, Steve Aoki, and all that stuff. And I was that guy, like, just watching everyone dance, you know, just hugging the wall and just with a drink in my hand and just wanting to dance. But I never knew how to dance. I have no dance background. And that's until I met two of my friends from high school that we go way back. They were with me in elementary school and stuff like that. And they so happened to started learning how to shuffle and hung out with them. And then, you know, they taught me shuffling.
Was it like the style that now you are kind of into, or what did their style kind of look like, and why did you gravitate towards them, or was it more just, I want to start dancing, I want to start shuffling, I want to start enjoying the music? that way. So I'm going to grasp onto any influence that I see. Like what was their, what was the appeal to you?
It was definitely like the way they connected with the music, and I enjoyed the music already. Like, because like I said, like watching those people dance at the house parties, and they just looked like they were having so much fun. And now I just wanted to get in there, and then once I saw my friends dance, like no one was shuffling back in the days. Like this was like 2009, and they were like the first people shuffling, and every time they would shuffle, like a circle would form and people would ask like, what is that? And you have people cheering them on, and I was like, wow, like I want to do that. I want to inspire other people, or like just be that person. So it was definitely just to enjoy the music and connect.
Get into the action and
Yeah.
be a curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's kind of what shufflers turn into, right? It's like if you've never seen shuffling before, it's kind of it's an odd sight, but it's interesting, and people will start a circle, and you'll be the center of attention eventually. No, that's cool, man. So when you first started, kind of what did that look like? What were the origins? Were you going to these parties and that was kind of like your practice ground, or were you going to certain spots and starting to practice there? Was it structured? Was it kind of loose and you did it here and there? Like what did your initial first 6 months of shuffling kind of look like?
I was definitely like meeting up with two of my friends, and just shuffling at their house and learning like the running man, the T-steps. And we would all go to college together. So like right after class, we would like go to a park, take a little speaker and shuffle there. And we would shuffle like throughout the whole day, like shuffle after class and later on that night, and then throughout the week, we would go to a club like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and even on the weekend. So a lot of shuffling, and then my first time going to a rave, that's when like things progress, but it was definitely linking up with friends and going to parks and just practicing there.
Did you guys feel like was it just kind of having fun, or were you guys dedicated to like progressing your craft? Like was there a competitive nature in between all of you guys, or was it more just kind of hanging out?
No, I would say it was definitely competitive, because there was one friend of ours that was really good. Like I don't think he was ever bad when he shuffled. He was really good. And then my other friend was pretty good too. So once I started getting into it, and once I started like realize the styles, and there's certain like T-step variations or like certain running mans you can do, we would all just like watch YouTube videos, and then we would like go back to our house and just practice at our house individually. And then in a few days, we'll show each other what we learned and be like, oh, I'm learning this right now. And we were just all, because no one was really shuffling like how we were shuffling, no one was learning how to like rock and like do these T-step variations. And then at LA, at least, we're like in every house party we used to go to, everything, like there was no one shuffling like us, so it was definitely something that we strive to like do, like get better at, It's like we would see our inspirations in YouTube, and we knew that we were like, there was still more to learn and still more to like strive. So it was like a journey.
Yeah, you were never capped out, or it was always the beginner's mindset of what else could I learn and things like that. And you showed me a lot of YouTube videos of were those like the initial inspirations that you had when you were at the beginnings of your shuffle journey? A lot of the videos you showed with me were compilations of people at like very early EDC, Las Vegas, when I was still in the Coliseum, and people really getting down and doing some moss and different like Cali style and stuff like that. Was that kind of the style that you guys were going for and was learning from these shuffle videos?
Yeah. I think talked to you about like the We Dance Hard
Yeah.
and like Hardstyle Republic and Soul Faction. So when I first started shuffling, it was mostly just We Dance Hard for like the rocking style of shuffling. And my inspirations for that was like Matt, Hiltzy, Pay, and all them guys, Brenton, And then once I met two of my other friends, Mozzie and Astro from AOH, there's the ones that inspired me to do Moz. And that just opened a whole new chapter in my life of like shuffling. And that's where I learned about Hardstyle Republic, Soul Faction, and that's where the Moz T-step and all that stuff came from. I don't know if that was the same question. I was
No. You're describing kind of what you're finding your style and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so you started more with like a rocking style, and then you progressed into more moss.
Right.
Have you explored any other styles, or it's like, did you just fall in love with moss?
Yeah, I really fell in love with Moz, just because my friend Mozzie, he was like a killer, right? And the dance floor, like Moz, he was just so far ahead of his time that every time he would get down, we were just like blown away. We were literally like just be like hyped. He was get us hyped because we were like, wow, you could do that. We didn't know that was possible to do in shuffling, because he would do like jumps and spins. It was crazy. And after watching him, I knew that like I just like the aggressiveness he brought out and the energy, because you could feel it, like Maz, you can feel the energy you put into it, like the aggressiveness and the power. And so that's something that really captivated me in the style. So once I started learning that and started learning that your body is capable of like doing those hard stomps, and like, so that's what really captured me, and knew that, all right, like it's not just about floating around and rocking and just T-step variation. You can also add this whole different element into shuffling, like where you can add like a wow factor, with your style too, when you bring that energy.
Yeah, and I also think that, because just seeing you dance and then also seeing a lot of the videos that you linked me to, rocking, you're definitely using space, but moss, you're using space in like a very swift way. Like you're taking that long back step, and then you're moving forward, then you're taking a long back step the other side.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's very appealing to me, and that's the part that I'm very excited about to learn from you. Is just another way of using space on the dance floor, especially deviating from your rock a little bit and then going more into that style. It's very interesting to see if you have space to dance in a club.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes they get tight.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting too, having space in clubs. Definitely just shuffling in clubs is a whole different vibe than shuffling like at a studio or at a sesh. I feel like it's important to go out there to a club, atmosphere, because it just has that energy, you know, it makes you want to go harder in the dance floor. And then you bring that to like a sesh, you know, you bring that energy to a sesh when you're dancing. So that's something that I'm realizing now, like when I was just out yesterday or a few weeks ago when I was at a club, I was like, yeah, I miss shuffling at a club, because this is basically where I learned most of my style when I first started shuffling.
Mm. And you probably have more like gas, like lung capacity, because you're riding off of the vibes, and you're able to go a little bit longer because you don't even realize how tired you are. Whereas, like, you know, when you're in a studio and you're just kind of grooving here and there, you don't necessarily you can't always detach the way that you detach when you're in a club environment with just your stamina, the need to take a break or whatever else, because you're waiting for like the end of that musical phrase, you know, to then take a break. But you know, when you're in the club, you're just riding it as long as you can. All your friends are cheering you on and stuff like that.
And the DJ too, you know, he's playing live like a set, and he's just trying to throw bangers after bangers. So you're just like, oh shit, like this song's sick.
Yeah, he's doing his part. You got to do your part.
Like, oh man, like hold on, wait, I gotta go again. You know. So
yeah, jump back in. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, and also like your friends are there at the club too, and then you're seeing them get down, and you get hyped, so you want to go again, and it's just vice versa, and it's like all you guys are just sharing the energy on the dance floor, and it's just like it's different just being at a studio, you know, session for sure.
And I don't know if you get this vibe when you're at a club, but when you almost feel obligated to jump into a circle to like keep your space, like to keep your real estate, you know, because the moment that someone sees an open space, that it kind of gives them permission just to go in and sit there and watch the show.
Right.
But if someone's constantly in the circle and dancing, you're kind of taking over that space to keep the circle going. So I know sometimes I'm gassed, but there's no one else in the circle, and it's like you have to do your part to keep that reserved spot for the shufflers to keep dancing and whatnot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there's definitely like for shufflers, you know, you see a little spot. As soon as you walk in the club, you see a spot, and it's like one of those things like where you see your friend, another shuffler, and then you both make eye contact, and you already know that that's the spot to shuffle, you know? So it's like, let's go get that spot. And then we try our best just to go back and forth. But if it's just you by yourself, just, even if you're not shuffling, just groove and just, you know, with the music, and do a little bit of running mans here and there to know that you're dancing here. But yeah, sometimes it's hard. You know, being at a club, there's not much room. Yeah, so it's important to learn like your space and the T-steps, and some people like only know how to shuffle this one style, you know, where they take a lot of space, and it's important to. Well, I feel like it's more fun just to know like how much space you're taking, you know, so you can have a good time regardless if there's space or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe consolidate a little bit and get a little bit more intricate with your footwork or things like that, and still have fun with it. And then, okay, maybe I have a little bit more lateral space so I can rock back and forth, right, or like front to back and things like that.
Yeah.
No, it's very cool. I just want to. I have a something that I noted when you were speaking, that you kind of had this friend group when you first started, and like you guys would go to the club and everything like that, and there was like a little bit of friendly competition and things like that. And it seems like, yeah, you had camaraderie through shuffling, and I think that's a similar theme to a lot of shufflers, right? They get a pretty big, robust social circle from this, and they find some of their best friends through this. What else has shuffling given you in that capacity? Like, obviously, you're now a part of a community, and you have a lot of friends from that, and a lot of these people have been dancing with you for a while. But what else has shuffling kind of brought? Where else has shuffling brought value to you in your life?
Well, yeah, those same people that I mentioned before, we started a crew, and having a crew, being in that leadership position, like having people like look up to you and lead them, to like inspire them.
Is there any other just facets of life or areas of life where this has given you value besides just your ability to move your body in just the way that you want it, the way that you see it connecting with the music? I had mentioned the camaraderie that you've built with other people. I also know that you've been teaching lessons and stuff, so perhaps that it's given you an ability to convey information and instruct people, which could lead into other things than just dance, just communication skills and stuff. Like, what other valuable things has this dance given you?
Definitely my friends in the community, friendships, and having an opportunity like to teach and like to travel to events, and having friends not just in LA and Cali, but like Texas, here in Denver. The community. I would have never imagined having this type of community like 10, 12 years ago. And now, you can make friends anywhere in the U.S. because of shuffling. And you can, if you work hard enough and you're dedicated to the craft, like you can have an opportunity to teach as well, So, yeah, shuffling has brought a lot to me, and I'm super like grateful about it. And it's a special thing that it's brought to my life. Like, I feel like it's not just something I do now, it's more like a lifestyle, because when I wake up in the morning, I make sure I have a nice meal, make sure I hit the gym and feel good, and do some cardio, because I want to shuffle later or something like that, have a little sesh later, and I constantly want to like grow as far as shuffling. So it's became more of it's not just something I do, but it's shuffling is me, it's not just something that I do now. It's who I am, I guess.
Your life is like centered around it, and your habits are going to be centered around it as well.
Yeah. Even I'm sure people will resonate with this. Like, even just a shoe you get, the shoes you get, you're like, you before you even buy them, you wear them and shuffle in them, and then, or you see how this shoe would look, or even the pants you get, cargos, or like the baggy fits, would look cool shuffling. Little stuff like that. It's just it just becomes you. So that's pretty cool. Shuffling has brought that for me.
Yeah, and it looks like it guides you in the right path. The first thing you said was, I make sure I get up and I eat like a healthy meal, because I know if I'm going, like, you didn't say this part, but if you probably ate something that was shit for you, or like processed foods and whatnot, you're probably not gonna have the creative juices flowing later on. You're probably not going to have the energy levels that will give you a good sesh. You're probably not going to even want to hit the workout before you dance, and that won't prime your body in the right way or get you limber or whatever else. So just the fact that you want to grow and be a better dancer is, you reverse engineer everything to get you to that. And to be a better dancer, you need to take care of yourself mentally, physically, even spiritually. You know what I mean? There's a spiritual connection to music, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever just been on the dance floor and you're just hitting things that you've never hit, or you're putting things together that you'd never put together before, just because like you're getting like this different type of energy or inspiration from the music, from the environment. I feel like that's spiritual in nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So you had also, mentioned that throughout your shuffle journey, you've had just much more of a robust connection with music and with the people. How has that progressed over time with you?
Can you explain to me like what does robust mean?
Oh, robust, like more. Yeah. Sorry, man. Sometimes my vocabulary is whack. More intense, more just more rich, a more rich connection with the music, more layers to it and things like that. How has that progressed over time with you?
Just, I mean, I would have never thought like connecting with some of these people, some really good friends of mine, having like a robust connection.
There you go.
Yeah. Like the FTS homies, we would go, they invited me, I remember they invited me to the first time, like to an event called Side Tribe. And this event is like a 3-day camping festival of nothing but psytrance, nonstop for like 3 days. So we would like set up camp, put our tents and wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning and just go to a psytrance event. And that to me was like very special. And I never would have thought like connecting with people like that. And just because of shuffling, and then it just, gave me that opportunity to like connect with music and with friends on a deeper level, because now we're out here in the desert or in the forest, just listening to music and just shuffling, or just enjoying the music. So it was dope.
And the psytrance.
Yeah,
I approve of this.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Were you at Dream State back in November?
Yeah, I was at Dream State. Yeah, it was cool. Got to see the homie Marty get an FTS, and I forgot who else got recruited in FTS. It was Marty for sure. Oh, and Sebs, and the homie Sebs. So it was dope. Shout out to them. Congrats on them. They worked hard to get an FTS, and seeing them, like the whole process of like how you get an FTS is a dope. It's a special experience watching your friends that you've seen many years work their ass off, and then to see them be a part of something like that, it's dope. So.
Was Dream State their showcase more or less? Like after the recruiting process, they got in, and that was their first festival with the fam?
No, like I think Marty and Sebs, they always wanted to be a part of FTS, and they always hung out with FTS and just train with FTS. And FTS is a big inspiration, not just for them but for a lot of people. And just, damn, I forgot the question, bro.
I was just asking, if that was their first, festival with the FTS family, the after being recruited, because I do know that's a big deal. I just had my friend Brent on, Brent Bannister on, and he tried to get into FTS like two times. And didn't make the cut. It didn't discourage him or anything like that. But I know for a fact that it's highly sought after. And just the recruiting process is robust.
I see now. I see how robust comes. It's definitely it's like a process. Like FTS is not just gonna let anyone in. You have to have like a connection with them, hang out with them, and they got to see you like work. They want to see you progress too. They just don't want to like, they'll give you advice like, and they want to see you actually like take that feedback and like get better and see you just be out there and doing work, And I mean, I wanted to be a part of FTS too at one point, so it's all good, So FTS is they're really special group of friends, and even though I'm not a part of FTS, like I still feel like I'm a part of FTS. So it's all good, For those who don't join FTS, like they're always welcoming. They're always gonna show love and support. So even if you don't make it into FTS, or like just still hang out with them, I'm sure just hit them up, they'll still make time to hang out with you and have a sesh with you. And eventually if you work hard enough, I believe anything's possible and you can join FTS. So
I mean, it's nice that their selection process is hard, because they're qualifying and they're weeding out the people who actually want to be there. So, and I think that you can just respect that. At the end of the day, you just have to respect it. Because, there's going to be, if it's a highly sought after crew and, they're vibe checking everyone and making sure it's all good, the integrity of that crew is going to be better, overall. So, but yeah, man, you're the extended fam. That's okay.
It's all good. Like, hey, like Migz didn't get to join FTS, so it's all good.
So you were just talking about like how they'll help you, they'll give you feedback, all this stuff. They're more or less instructors, and I think that's a great representation of the shuffle community. It's very much just a open forum for how to get better with the dance. I think a lot of people give their time back and help however they can to make, for the people who want to progress. There's never a small amount of shufflers that will help them out. It's usually a lot of people who are willing to spread their knowledge, and you're one of those people. You've been doing a lot of classes, you've been doing a lot of one-on-one lessons and things like that, and I think you've made it a point to make shuffling more accessible, especially in the style that you subscribe to. So how has that been? How's that journey been? Because I know for myself, there's like a lot of imposter syndrome, that goes into teaching. Like, why me? Like, who am I to be teaching X, Y, and Z? How has that journey been for you? When did you start teaching, and what has your experience been ever since?
I started teaching maybe like 2020, like around late 2020. And I remember it was because of, there was this whole discussion about none of the OGs like teaching the right form of moves like correctly or something like that. And none of the OGs were stepping up so I was like, all right, I guess I'll do it. I'll step up and teach. It's something that I always enjoy teaching, even though I wasn't doing one-on-ones or like classes at the time. I always would teach like the homies, even homies from FTS, homies from my crew that I had. I would teach them like Mas T steps, and then when I would see them do the Mas or the Mas T steps, it would just it made me feel good, because I'll be like, oh, he's getting it, and then seeing them like do it in their style or doing it and having a good time, having fun with that is just, I know that's something I enjoyed. So when that happened in 2020, and there was like, it was just the universe just being like, yo, like we need you, So I was like, all right, I stepped up. I started doing one-on-ones, and even myself, I feel you, because when I first started teaching, it's a process of just like learning how to like break down things and like trying to give the best experience to that person who's trying to learn, making sure you're teaching them correctly, because you're the teacher, they're looking at you, and you have to like teach them properly, or else you're gonna like give them bad habits to like, or not teaching them well, and then you just want to see them do good, you just want to see them have a good time and excel in their style, so yeah, I had a hard time teaching too when I first started, and just, I would say, just with time, just keep doing those one-on-ones, like you'll slowly start to realize, because everyone's different, everyone learns differently, and you'll see like what works for some people and what works for other people, like other people learn different. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like kind of what you just said. You're like almost taking responsibility for their progression. So you become more detail oriented in how you're articulating your thoughts and how you're conveying the information. It's almost like an attention of detail that maybe you didn't have with yourself. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more serious, because you want to see that person do their best. You want to see them, do well. You want to see them taking the shortcuts that weren't available to you. You know what I mean? And getting them to where you are quicker. Mm-hmm. That sort of thing. And it's a good feeling when you can achieve that. And I'm sure you've experienced that when you've seen Definitely. A student of yours or students progressing at a rate that's faster than you, or they're just incorporating your the style that you've been imparting on them, and you can see it in their dance. Yeah, it's probably like a proud dad moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. Now that you mention it, like if I would have had like myself teaching when I first started, like it would have took off like years of shuffling. I would have learned what I know now like within a year or two, instead of like 10 years or 14 years.
Yeah.
And we had that too. People in the shuffle community where they got taught by really great shufflers, and within a year or two they were just like really good, really high level shufflers. So it's crazy. Now you have these opportunities to learn from really great shufflers, so.
Is there anyone that you had taken lessons with that kind of did the same thing, that like with what you're doing for other people at the moment, kind of giving you those shortcuts? I guess in person, probably, the YouTube videos that you're seeing, and your friends, you and your friends progressing together. But is there any like one-on-one lessons that you've done or classes that you've done?
As far as classes, I never really took any shuffle classes, but I have had like some friends just guide me, and just watching them shuffle, it's like breakthroughs where I'm like, oh shit, so that's how he's doing it, and yeah, it made me realize that if you do like just little small details in shuffling, you know, if you do a certain part with your body, if you add like a certain like move in your body where you're like adding not just your legs but your upper body, like your core and little stuff like that, it just those small details play a big difference. You know, that's what I learned from watching some friends, and also when they give me like just give me feedback, you know. So it's crazy. Shout out to Spaghetti. That's the homie right there. Watching that guy shuffle definitely helped me leveled up, and as well as like the homie, his name was Armando, also known as Gotti. Like me and that guy, when we first started shuffling, it was just me and him were like back to back, just shuffling. Like he would do Maz, I would do Maz, and we would do like combos, and we would go back and forth. It was sort of like that. I don't know if you watch anime, but it was like Sasuke and Naruto. Like that.
I've seen it.
But it was like,
we'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah, it was like a brotherhood, and then we just leveled up because you had that other person that's like also enjoys the same style as you, and also it's like keeping you in check, you know.
Yeah, just by like proximity, you know, you're leveling up because either you're being inspired by someone and what they're doing, or they're giving you feedback here and there.
Yeah.
Or you're noticing something about them and you're giving them feedback, but it's kind of rewiring how you're thinking about things.
Yeah.
And so you haven't had lessons per se, or you haven't gone to classes per se, but it's been like small little incremental lessons that you've taken away just by hanging out with the homies. It never was, you know, maybe super intentional, but just by being around them, you were picking up little lessons here and there.
Definitely. And also I would suggest like something to the listeners is just not to have so much of an ego to go up to someone you enjoy watching, you know, one of your favorite shufflers, and just asking them, you know, like, hey, I like your style, like I like this move that you do, like how do you do it, you know? Because I definitely did that like a lot when I was learning, and that's helped me in my style. Just going up to someone and asking them like, yo, I like your style, like how do you do that move, and even just showing them that, they felt like they weren't like assholes and being like get away from me, you know. They were kind enough to be like, oh, thanks bro, like that means a lot, you know, like because they know who I am, and even me being like a high level shuffler too, they were like, oh, okay, like he likes my style, like he wants to learn from me, and they would teach me, you know. Like it don't matter like what level you're at, if you're just starting or if you're a really good shuffler, like if you like someone's style or a move they do or anything, just go up to them and tell them you appreciate their style and how do you do it, like, you know, and they might show you, you know.
Yeah, I think most shufflers have humility, you know what I mean? Even if they know that they're good, they're humble enough to just tell someone exactly how they got to where they are, or they can appreciate when someone is asking for that kind of knowledge. But it's sometimes hard to be vulnerable enough to do that, especially if you don't have the right rapport or you don't know them very well. But I feel like, you know, 99 times out of 100, it's going to be well received. Right. And it's typically always appreciated because we work on our craft, you know, we work on our craft for hours, and for it to be recognized, you know, we can recognize it all day, but it hits different when someone comes up and takes the time to say like, wow, you're doing great, or I love this part of your flow. How did you cultivate that? It's some kind of validation that you just can't get from yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're a lot of shufflers. I know a lot of shufflers that are really good, that they're their own worst critic. They're so hard on themselves. Hard on myself. When it comes to shuffling, when it comes to teaching, anything. And then having someone come up to you and tell you like like your style, or just random people, at the clubs or at festivals, it's a dope feeling. So
Yeah, it's really amazing. I do want to switch gears because I know you have a class to get to, and I will be joining you at that class. But I just want to talk a little bit about your experience judging. Correct? Like you were a judge for the FTS battles.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and I that's no surprise with your experience, just instructing, just your years of dancing in general. It's no wonder why they asked you to do that. So, how was that for you, just in general?
It was super humbling. Super grateful. They asked me, they asked some of like the really well-known OGs in the shuffle scene. Yeah, it was dope. Judging a shuffle battle it's hard. It's not easy judging, especially in the moment. Like, I feel like in those rounds, like anyone could have taken anyone out. It wasn't like so far out that like this person just dominated that round. It was, all the rounds were close, and I'm excited for this year as well, because there's a lot of good shufflers that are going to be battling this year. But last year, it was a dope experience because you had all the OGs judging, and all the OGs, they look at mostly like that clean, like Melbourne shuffle or Cali or Ma style. They're not really like all about the new wave of like musicality and stuff like that. Like, maybe some of them are, but for the most part, like most of the judges are like old school and like foundation and stuff like that. But this year, who knows? Like, that's another thing about battling is like, you just got to know what the judges like. You just can't go in there and be a high level dancer and be like, and you did really good, but the judges don't recognize that, because some judge, they prefer this instead of what you're doing. So know your judges, know what they like, and yeah, you can take it.
That's a good tip for the listeners, for those battling. Maybe do a little bit of research on who your judges are, what they appreciate, what their style is. If they're using a ton of musicalities and things like that while they dance, something to take note of and things like that. But there were quite a few judges, right? For the FTS battle, right?
Last year, it was 7 judges, I believe. It was me, Sky, Josh, Shelby, Glinda, Sky, and Donovan. Oh wait, and J Boy. I think maybe 8, unless I said.
I think you said Sky twice.
Okay. So yeah, there's 7 or 8. I'm not sure, but there's a lot.
Got it. That's a lot of research for the battlers.
A lot, because J Boy's really good with musicality. Like, he's a dancer, he's not just a shuffler. So like, if you bring that aspect into shuffling, like, you're most likely to get his round. And Sky as well. He's a really good like dancer, not just a shuffler. So yeah, it's just taking note of that. Like, okay, like this judge is really good with this, and taking note and doing your research.
You think he'll do it again?
Who?
Do you think you'll judge again?
Me? Well, this year I'm battling. So
Okay. Look out.
so yeah, I'm battling this year. Sierra, Migz, and Gribbs are judging. Shout out to them. You know, congrats on judging the FTS. That's not an easy like thing to do, and it's a really special accomplishment to be a part of that. So shout out to them.
I'm sure they'll do great.
Yeah.
They are, no, they're all amazing dancers and they're very knowledgeable. So I'm sure they'll kill it.
Yeah.
And good luck to you. I didn't realize. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited, pretty nervous because there's really good shufflers out there that join. And I'm just going to do what I'm good at and do something that I'm not good at, you know? It's like, so you can't be too comfortable, I feel like. And at a battle, you can't just do what you're comfortable at. You also got to do a little bit of what you're uncomfortable at and surprise people, you know, be like, oh, I never seen him. I didn't think he'd do that. He got out of his comfort zone, you know, so it's going to be fun.
It'll be fun to watch, man, for sure. All right, dude. This has been great. I've had a lot of fun talking with you. But like I said, you got to get to a class and I got to get there too. So we are just going to switch over to the world famous Final Five. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
So first question, what is your favorite music genre?
Dang. Is it okay to have multiple or just one?
Send it. Yeah, I know. This question is, asking you to pick your favorite child. I know.
Okay. Psytrance. Yeah.
Psytrance is the one. Is there a close second?
Techno. Techno would be a good one. I'm just started listening to house because I just started like learning house moves. And house is it's getting there, you know. I'm enjoying the house.
Got it. I do approve of the Psytrance.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What's your favorite place to dance?
Definitely the FTS studio. Now it's called Flow Complex. So shout out to them. So if you guys have not yet followed, make sure you follow Flow Complex, also known as the FTS studio. And we'll be teaching and having sessions there every Sunday. So, yeah. Dude,
I missed when Dream State was over, a lot of people went to the FTS studio to sesh, and I'm so bummed that I missed that one. That's still on my bucket list to go and groove with you guys over there. So very cool. What is your next question? What is your favorite set, show, or festival you've attended?
Definitely Dream State. You know, just because I feel like everyone goes to Dream State, so it's just knowing that all my friends are going to be there. You know, it's like, I mean, the music is good, trance is good and all that, but definitely like having your friends in the community, like most of the community, like the heavy hitters, go out there. So it's dope.
Yeah, that's a community showcase for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was talking to my friend Mario, who was on the podcast a couple weeks back, and I love the energy that the shufflers bring to Dream State as well. And, you know, we were just talking about like, there's no one on the outside of the shuffle circle with their hands crossed like this, you know, scrutinizing every move that you're making. They're hyping you up and they're just excited that you're there. And, you know, you're just connecting in a different way. And I really appreciated that about Dream State, just the overall, everyone was just kind of on the same wavelength, you know, and we were just there to vibe. So yeah, Dream State is good to go, man. Okay, switching gears a little bit. What is your favorite book?
And my favorite book, I would say Hose. You know, the movie Hose. Mm-hmm. I don't know, that book just stuck with me because I remember reading that book and then they made a movie about it. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah. I've never seen it, or I think I was made to read it when I was like in, high school or something, and I didn't. I like looked up the cliff notes, but what is it about? Just very briefly.
It's just about a kid that got into some trouble and had to start digging holes. And honestly, like, I don't remember, but I remember it was a good book, and I remember reading it like every page. So I would say hoes, but so far, Miguel, what's it called, Miguel Reyes or something?
Yeah,
like,
Miguel Reyes, the Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements is another good book, but I know hoes just stuck with me when I was a kid. But as of right now, like, just a few last year, I read that book, and I resonated with that book too. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a really good self-help book, and it tells a story as well, which I think resonates better. It's not very like textbook or anything like that.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Okay, for the last question, if you could put any message on the main stage production of a big festival, think Tomorrowland or EDC Las Vegas, what would it say?
I'd say plur, peace, love, unity, respect. That's something that stuck with me when I first started going my first rave. I fell in love with the rave scene, and I fell in love with like the music and the people in the rave, and I felt that essence of plur. I felt that like all these people are just here for the music and to dance and have a good time. So, and shuffling was a connection with that plur essence. So definitely plur, keep that old school vibe, that essence of rave and community alive, So
It's a good compass for how to behave and how to act in those environments. You know what I mean? Just like, okay, are you treating people with peace, love, unity, and respect?
Right.
I think it's values that ought to not die. Everyone says Blur's dead. It's like, no. Well, we decide that. We decide just by how our actions are.
Right.
So no, I think that would be a very good message to put on there. Thank you for sharing that. Dude, it's been great speaking with you. It's been great meeting you. And yeah, I just want to thank you again for taking the time out of your day. Your vacation, to come and do this with me. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners before we sign off?
I just want to thank everyone and thank you too for having me here and just listening to my story, my origin and where I'm at, what I'm doing, why I'm still doing this now. And thank everyone who supported me, all my friends. It means a lot. Having you guys there and just watching me grow and supporting, because without you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I probably would have stopped a long time ago. But yeah, it's love you guys and thank you guys for listening.
Awesome, man. Yeah, you always got to shout out the homies.
Yeah.
And your supporters, your advocates, the people in your corner. I'm sure this conversation has resonated with a lot of people who are listening. Where can people connect with you after the show and learn more about you, maybe follow your journey?
I think Instagram is a good place if you want to keep up what I'm doing, because I feel like that's where I post all like what I'm doing as far as classes or just posting videos of my shuffling. So if you guys have not yet followed me, make sure you follow me on at Migz Can Shuffle on Instagram. And yeah, if you guys are interested in doing one-on-ones, I'm offering that. And I'm also doing classes in Cali, and also I might do a class out near you, in a state near you. So
hit him up, and definitely say where you're from, and if there's enough demand, maybe that'll be enough to get to another city and whatnot. I know there's a lot of demand here in Denver, so. And speaking of that, we got a class to go to. So it was such a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for coming on. And we'll be kicking it here in Denver for the rest of the week. But this is us signing off now. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shuffle Curious podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please leave a rating and a review wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to tell a friend either. I'm excited for you to join us in our next episode. But in the meantime, remember to keep dancing and stay curious.